Hello everyone, welcome to the session. Maybe I'll wait for around 5 minutes before starting. I'll let others also join the session. So maybe I'll get started. So actually, there will be some MCQ questions. There will be some I'll give some programs. You have to predict the output, and there will be some programming assignments as well, just the practice assignment that is there in the week 3 in the course that we'll also try to do. So for MCQ questions, and I will get started with that MCQ and simple output questions. So for that, please write your answer in the chat here or in the QA here, Q&A. So you can write. I will come and I'll check the answer and we'll discuss the solution. Okay. So let me get started with the first question. First question is an MCQ. So in C, modulo division operator, which is represented by percentage, can be applied on what? The first option is that it can be applied on only float variables. Option B, only int variables. Option C, both int and float combination. And D, any type of data, like even characters or like strings and anything. So what will be the correct option? Please type your option A, B, C, D and write it in the Q&A. I'll give you some time to think and write. I'm not getting any response. I think there are less number of participants today. Maybe I'll try with you can unmute yourself and also speak in the talk if you want to. So that way also you can give your answer. Is my screen not visible? Let me share it again then. Okay, I hope it is visible now. This is the question. Any answer on this question? Okay, so I haven't got any answer, so I'll go ahead with the solution. Actually, the solution here is that the modulo operation can only be applied on only integers. So what does modulo operation do is that it suppose you write a 3 modulo 2, so it will say that what is the remainder if we divide 3 with 2. So that operation it is in C it is only possible when both the numbers like 3 and 2 the before the module operation a number will be there, after that another number will be there, both of them should be integer, otherwise it will not work, it will give some error. So this is the answer for this question. So let me go to the question 2. Which of the following statements are correct? First one is that all the else block. So if in a if else statement, the else block is executed only when condition inside if this statement is false. So we have to say if this statement is true, or a second statement is that one if statement can have multiple else statement. So suppose we have one if, then let us assume that if statement is not false, then after that we can write multiple else statement. Note that here it is not else if, it is else. Okay. So please think and give me the answer. So like either both can be true, both can be false, only one of them can be true. So please think and give me an answer. Am I audible to everyone and my screen is visible, right?
Your screen is not visible.
Still not visible. Okay, let me try to rejoin actually.
Sir, screen is not visible.
Okay, let me retry once more. Let me retry screen sharing. So is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay. Okay, so let me start with the first question then, because I think you are not able to see the question then. So this is basically I gave the answer actually. So this is the first question, that suppose you have a modular operator on C and you have on which data type you can apply the modular operator. So one option is the float, second option is int, third option is both int and float, and fourth option is all of that, like any data type, even outside int and float. And in this case, the only correct option is that like only int variables you can apply modular operation. Even if one of them are float or anything else, it will not work in C. So this is the correct option. Then this is the question two. This is about if else statement. So the first option is that like if there is some if statement, else statement will get executed only when if statement is false. So this is like one statement. Second statement is that one if statement can have multiple else statement. So this is the second statement. So there are four options. Both are true, both are false. Only one of them is true. So what is the correct answer? Please think and write the answer there. Or you can also unmute yourself and give the answer. Okay, so there is no answer till now. So the correct option is that only I. So only the first statement is correct. That if there is something inside the if statement, uh, and only when the if statement is false, then only it will go to the else. Otherwise, like it will skip the else statement. So and the second one, if statement cannot have multiple if else statement. For one if, there can be at most one else. Like it can be like if after that you can give else, you may not give else, that is your choice, but you cannot give multiple else. So this is the correct option, only one is the correct. Okay, so let me go to the question 3. What is the output of the following code? You have a int h, then you have some arithmetic operation, and then a conditional operator, and there is like 4 hyphen 3. So what will be
The
the option? Yeah.
screen is not visible.
Again, okay. Let me.
Sir, starting from the class, the screen is not visible actually.
Oh, but someone told it is visible. Just wait a minute. Let me connect with a different connection. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Okay, thank you. So again, sorry for the interruption. Actually, like I'll come back to the earlier questions again later on. I assume this is your question right now. So you have an int h, then there are some operations, and finally you have to print out what is the value of b here. So there are some some operations. You have to think what is the priority of the operations and then execute it accordingly. Then there is some conditional operator here. So that also you have to consider. So what will be the final value in the B? Please think about that and write answer. Uh, is my screen still visible or there is some issue?
Sir, screen is not visible properly.
Screen is not
Sir, it is
visible.
freezed.
It should not happen actually.
In that writing was visible.
Can you check again? If right now it is visible?
Yes, sir, visible.
Okay, thank you.
No, sir, it is whole black.
Yes, sir, it is full black.
Maybe when I'm turning to full screen. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Now?
No, sir.
Visible, sir.
Like, can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So, okay, I'll not go into the full screen then. So this is the question. So you have some variable called h, which is equal to 8. Then you have some operators. You have to give the answer here. What is the value of b here? It is black again. Oh, let me join from a different browser then.
डोक्याचे आहेत IIT चे प्रोफेसर आहेत तरी त्याला स्क्रीन दाखवायची नाही झाली. नाव मोठं लक्ष्मी होतं.
Okay, I'm joining from a different browser. Hopefully that will work.
तुझं
Yes,
ऐकून
it's
तुझं
fine.
बोलणं. लेक्चर बघते त्याला विचार तेच म्हणून त्याला विचारते सांग इकडं आण, माझं बुक आणते लेटेस्ट पायथन कोर पायथन
Just a minute. Is my screen visible now? Okay, I think it is visible. So let me resume the discussion. Okay, so this is the question 3. Okay, so please go through the question. And sorry for the interruption. I joined from a different computer right now, so now it is working. So what is the output of this operation? What will be the value inside the variable v? Okay, I got one answer 4. Any other answer? Okay, so the answer here is actually 4. So what are the steps here? Basically, in this case, the basic operations will be at first you have to multiply 4 into 6. Then you have 3 into 4. So 4 into 6 will be at first. Then 3 into 4 again. So 4 into 6 is 24 plus 3 into 4 is 12. So 36 will be at this side. Here, each value of each is 8. 8 into 5 is 40. So this will be the equation 36 less than 40 question mark. Sorry, this is 4, right? Okay. So this should be 24, not 24. I assume that this is 4. This is 4. So the answer is 4 here. So the thing is that uh, so the answer will not be answer will be actually 3 here. Sorry, answer will be 4 here because 36 is less than 40. Is it true? The answer is yes. 36 is actually less than 40. So then 4 will be assigned. If it were false, then 3 would have been assigned. So the correct option is 4. Any confusion in this question? So in case of conditional operator, like, you have to consider that if it is true, then first one will get assigned. If it is false, then second one will get assigned. Okay, let me go to the next question. What is the output of the following program? You have some negative float value, and then after that you have some modulo operation. So any answer on what will be the output here? Compilation error is one of the answer. Any other answer? Okay, so one answer is modulo operator cannot be applied to float values. So that is correct, but will that throw an error or will that result in a wrong value, just some wrong value? Any other answer on this? So actually, the answer is correct. It will actually result in a compilation error. It will not give some wrong value. I think it will just not compile. So this answer is correct. because modular operation cannot be done without an int, and the compiler will simply throw an error. Okay. And let me move on to the question. Next question. So find the output of the following C code. You have some integer if statements, and depending on the statement, something or multiple things may. So here there are like multiple conditions. So the thing is that okay, any answer, any other answer? I'll come to the answer. Tell me the answer for. Okay, I'll come to the previous question after this one. Okay, so some answer I got IIT KGP, one answer I got IIT Delhi, like IIT. So the thing is that there are two conditional statements here. So one thing to note here is that this else will also only get executed if this is false, and this else will only get executed if this and this both are false. So let's start for checking from here only. 3 greater than 5. Is it true? 3 is actually less than 5. So this statement is false. So this is one thing. 2 not equal to 3. Is it true? Yes, 2 is actually not equal to 3. So this one is actually true. So this is like false or true. False or true in C is true. So this statement is actually a true statement. So printf IIT will be printed. This will be executed, and because this is true, this will not go to this one, and obviously this will not also go to this one. So only correct option here is that only IIT KGP. Okay. Any confusion on this? This is the correct option. IIT KGP. Okay, let me quickly go to the previous question. So let me actually start from question 1 itself very quickly because there are some internet issues here. So basically, see, modular division operator can be applied on. So the options are, can it be applied on float, int, both int and float, or any type of data? So the only correct option is that it can be only applied with int variables. Both of the operators must be, both of the numbers must be integers. Otherwise, it will give some compilation issue. Second question is that there are two statements. So if statement is false, only then it will go to the else statement. Else block will get executed only if it is false. So this condition is actually true. So if condition is true, then like else condition will not be executed. Second is that if statement can have multiple else statement. This is false because if there can be at most one else. Okay, so only one is the correct option. Only I. Then what is the output of the following C code? Here basically you have to think 4 into 6 is 24 plus 3 into 4 is 12. So here it is 36. and h into 5 is 40 because h is 8. 8 into 5 is 40. So this statement 36 less than 40 is actually true. So if it is true, this is conditional operator. So if it is true, then 4 will be printed. And if it is false, then 3. But since it is true, so 4 will be the answer. Then next question, float I equal to minus 3.0. So this is a floating point value. And I modulo 2, again, this is the modular operation, but see here, this is like minus 3.0, and this is 2. Here it is like float and int. So we cannot perform modular operation here. So there, this will give out a compilation error. Okay. So these are the answers to the previous questions. Then, okay, so this is the next question. You have some increment operator x plus plus. There are some assigned value for that. Then what will happen? What will be printed here? I'm getting multiple answers for false. Okay, so correct option is actually false because here x is initialized to 0. Then here incremental, and there is x plus plus. So this is plus plus operation will happen after the statement has already been executed actually. So after we have considered the value of x, only after that incremental operation will be there. So at this point, value of x is 0. So this will not be executed if x plus plus. So printf true will not be executed because this statement is false. Then after that point, x has been incremented to 1. So if x equal to 1, now it is true. So in this case, this statement is true, so false will be printed. So yeah, false is the correct option here. Then next question, what is the correct syntax for if-else statement in C? Okay, so to okay, I am getting mostly C and some B. So first thing is that B is not the correct option because in C, after if you have to open, like keep the parenthesis brackets there. So that is not there. This is one thing. Second thing is that there is no then in C. So if condition then, that is not a valid in C language. So B is not the correct option. Again, if condition here also there is no bracket around the condition, so that is also not correct. Then if condition, then again this is also is not a correct statement. So only correct option here is that C. If there is a bracket around the condition, then statement something else statement something. So this is the correct syntax for C. Let me go to the next question. Then there are some actually more output type questions, and then we'll be solving the sample problems in C language, which is there in week 4. So which of the following statement is true for if a statement? Option A, they are not allowed in C. Option B, the else part is mandatory if you give some if statement. Option C, they allow you to test multiple condition and execute different blocks based on the result. And option B, nested if statement are only allowed up to two levels. So 3 levels you cannot do, like if within that another if within that another if that is not allowed. So these 4 are the options. Which of them are correct? Okay, so mostly I'm getting C options now. Okay, so the correct option is actually C. So one thing is that first thing, they are obviously allowed in C. So this option is not true at all. Second one is that else part is mandatory. This is also not true because we can write if without else. So third part is correct. We can execute different block based on the multiple conditions. It can be nested. Third is if else statement can only be allowed up to 2 levels deep. That is also not true. It can be allowed as many levels as you want. So only correct option is C. Okay. Let me go to the next question then. Okay, so this is little bit tricky, not much. So what will be the, there is some int I, there is some incremental operation, then there is some assignment operation, then what will be the value of I? Okay. Okay, I'm getting mostly two. I got some answer saying it is undefined. Any other answer? Some answer called 3 as well. Okay, so let me go to the solution then. Okay. So the solution here is that it mostly depends upon the compiler actually. This is actually an undefined behavior, but generally what the most compiler will do is that most compiler will write it as a 2 only, because here let's say I equal to 2, then there is some incremental operation. So value of I, so basically what happens, let me just draw it actually. Okay. So basically, let's say we have so these are the statements that we have. So what will happen is that the compiler will assign a. Let me just draw something like this here. Assume this is the memory. So when you see int I equal to 2, it will assign something like this. Okay. And assume there are 2 here. Okay. So at first, what will happen is that I there are 2 parts. I equal to I plus plus. So I plus plus is an operation. I equal to is another operation. So generally, in most of the compilers, I plus plus will get executed first. So let me zoom a little bit. Okay, so suppose here this is the CPU. Okay, so what will happen is that in this case, this will come to the CPU. Let's say the value of I is equal to 2. Then I plus plus, it will what will happen is that it will consider it will increment the value to 1 plus 1. So it will be like 3. But when we are assigning the value, so again, remember that I plus plus is that after the operation only it will get incremented, right? So when assigning the value, it will assign 2 because here in case of I plus plus, so I plus plus was in, like it incremented once, but whenever we are assigning the value, it still has the previous value because in case of like increment of like post increment operation, this will keep the previous value for all the operations. So again, this is quite undefined behavior. In case of some other compiler, we can also get 3 because in this case, what they will do is that at first you will assign 2 to the 2, then you can like it can increment. So sequence of the solution, sequence of the operation is not very defined, but uh, for majority of the other compilers, 2 will be the correct option. So if you see the question, so mainly, and if there is no option for undefined behavior, then go ahead with 2 because this is the most acceptable solution. So the answer is that this answer is 2, but this depends upon the compiler. So it okay, so this is another question. What will be the output of the given program? We have some float number and then we have some switch statement. Okay, I got some answer with 0, some answer with hype, some answer with error. 5.6 will not be printed in any case actually because we are not printing the number anywhere. Okay, maybe, okay. Then Okay, why don't we just write the code in the compiler? Okay. Any answer? Any other answer? Okay, I got multiple options with 0. Some options are 5, 6, 5, 6, 0. Okay, the correct option here is it will not print anything, it will throw an error. So see, switch num. So here it is throwing some error because in case of switch statement, you have to give some either some integer or some like character. You cannot give float as a switch statement. So that is why it is error. Because in case of switch statement, it is like 0, 1, like it should be true or false. So you cannot give float in here. It will not compile. So this is compiled error because switch statement it cannot be float. Okay. Next question. Int a equal to 0, b equal to 10. If a equal to 0, then print true, else print false. Some answers I'm getting true, some answer false. Any reason for your answers? Can you type? Okay, in the meantime, let me again type the code. Okay, so what will be the output if we run the code? Yeah, equal to is not there, so it is equal to actually not equal to. So what will be the answer? Okay, so let me compile the code. So if you see the, sorry. So the output here is false. Why is that? So basically, one thing to note here is that A is equal to 0. Okay, it is not equal to. So what will happen is that at first it will the compiler will assign 0 to the variable A. Okay, and then use that value as a like to evaluate if the if statement. So here it will be like a if of 0. So if of 0 means what? It is always like 0 is false. So if false, it will not be get executed. Then it will come to the else, then it will go to the false. Okay. So the correct option is false. So assume that instead of a equal to 0 here, I will write a equal to -1. What will happen then? Okay, I'm getting true for -1. Let me just execute that one. So the answer is yes. For anything other than 0, the answer will be true. Okay, so in each statement, if it is 0, then only it is like false. Otherwise, any other value than 0, it is like true. Okay, so then let me go to the next question. Okay, so what will be the value of x here? So assume that this is a block diagram. This was there in your previous assignment, I think week 1 or 2. So uh, since the deadline is over for that, I'm discussing the solutions. Okay, assume that n is 5. Okay. Uh, Okay, so many students have written one. Can you explain why is it one? In explanation. Okay, so the question here is that there is a flow diagram, and basically the user is reading n. There are some operations. Then the question is that at the end of the operation, what will be the value of x? So basically, what happens here is that it goes to, suppose here it is reading 5 from the user. Okay, then there are two variables initialized, I equal to 1 and x equal to 1. It is there. Then next step is that I less than equal to n. So the question is that is I here is 1. Is it greater than, sorry, not less than, it is greater than, I greater than equal to n. So the question is that is I greater than equal to n? The answer is no, because I is 1 and I am saying that n is 5. So this statement is false. So it will go to the no. Then it will just print the x. So x, value of the x right now is 1. So all the operations, multiplication and all, they will not get executed at all. So the final value will be 1. Sorry, it needs to be updated, I think. The value is wrong here. Let me press it once. Yeah. So the value here is 1. Then there are two more MCQs. Then we'll go to the programming assignment. So this is the question. We have x equal to 5, then x equal to y, then some operation. What will be the output? One answer I got is 1, another answer is 12. Garbage value error. If it is error, why is that error? And why is that a garbage value? So assume that there is a C program, apply C logic on this flowchart. Okay. So okay, let me just write a program maybe quickly for this product. Basically, what I'm trying to do is that um, there should be some scanf. So basically, this is the program here actually. X equal to 5. Assume that this is the input given by the user. Then I am trying to say y equal to x. Sorry, x equal to y. Then I am saying y equal to x multiplied by 10 plus y percentage 2. Then I am saying printf y. This is the basic flow diagram, like code version of the flow diagram. So now what will be the answer? This is the code. Yeah. So this is correct. Y is not declared right now. So this will not be a garbage value. So this will give, this will not compile at all because I am assigning y to the x and compiler doesn't know what does y mean at this point. So it will throw compile error. Yeah, at line 5 it is compiled. So this is not a like garbage value. Garbage value will happen when you have defined something. Let's say in y you have defined that. In that case, there can be a garbage value. Okay, some random field is there. But if we haven't defined the y at all, then it is like a compile error. Okay, I think this will be the last. Okay, there are few more questions. If integer needs 2 byte of storage, so what will be the minimum value? So minimum value means the largest negative number possible with 2 byte. I got two options. I'm not asking for range actually, so I am asking for what is the minimum value. Option is C. Some said D. Okay. So one thing is that this is signed, so obviously like it cannot be 0 because negative numbers will also be there. Yeah, I'll come to the explanation. So the question is that suppose you have defined an integer and the integer is 2 bytes. So 2 bytes means 16 bits. And we have also told like this is a signed integer, so there will be positive and negative. The question is that what is the minimum value that we can represent with this 2 byte of integer? What is the like minimum number, negative most number actually here that we can represent? The answer is not C actually. The answer is D. So basically, what happens is that suppose, let me just write here. Okay, so basically, there are in 2 bytes, you have 16 bits. 16 bits. So in 16 bits, 1 bit is for sign. So for number, you have 15 bits. So for so for the range for this is minus 2 to the power 15, sorry, to the power 15 mm, to plus 2 to the power 15 minus 1. So basically what is happening here is that you have 15 bits, so there are 2 to the power 15 because every bit can be 0 or 1. So there are 2 to the power 15 combinations. In case of negative side, you can have all the 2 to the power 15 values, but in case of positive side, you can only have 2 to the power 15 minus 1. Why minus 1? Because in the positive side, it is starting with 0, right? So the maximum value can be 1 less than the like whatever value we have here for consider like because we also have to accommodate 0. But for negative side, there are all possible combinations. So 2 to the power 15 is 32768. So in the negative side, it will be 32768 only, minus 32768. Okay. So this you should remember. The range is 2 to the power 2 to the power n minus 2 to the power n to plus 2 to the power n minus 1. So minus 1 is not on the n. Minus 1 is actually on the total value. Okay, so it is outside. Okay, so this is the answer of the question. Maybe one or two questions, then we'll move on to the coding section. Okay, so this is again with hash define. So we have some hash define with which is replacing the function, and then what will be the value here? I got an answer minus 1, 16.00, 16.00. Okay, so yeah, you are correct, and the option will be 16.00 because first thing the compiler will do is that it will replace. So let's say I'm considering this statement only, I equal to 64.0 divided by fun of 2. So the compiler will convert this to 64.0 divided by fun of 2. Fun of 2 is within bracket x into x. So it will be like within bracket 2 into 2. So the 2 into 2, it is within the bracket. So it will get executed first. So 64 by 4, 64.0 by 4, it will be like I equal to 16.0. And because here we have percentage 2f, so it will print 2 digits after the floating point. So it will be 16.00. Okay, so next question. This is the final MCQ question, then we'll go to the coding part. So what is the value here? We have x equal to 1, y equal to 3, then there are some assignment, reassignments, then we are finally printing the value. This is okay. Let me just draw this once. Okay, so these are the operations. Basically, let's say we have some table to represent the variables maybe. So assume this is maybe x, this is y, this is t maybe. Okay. So initially, I'm considering this statement. So x is 1 and y is 3. Okay. In the next statement, int t is equal to x. So what is the value of x? It is 1. So t is 1, right? Then I'm saying x equal to y. So what will happen? Value of 3 will come to here. So 1 will be replaced by 3, right? And then I'm saying y equal to t. So what will happen? Value of t will come to the y. So 3 will be replaced with 1. So here we have 1. So finally, when I'm writing print x and y, so what it will print? For x, it will print 3. For y, it will print 1. So 3 and 1 will be the correct option. Okay, so this is the question. So this is just a like swap operation. They are value of x is going to y and y is going to x with a temporary variable t. Okay, so then let's go to the coding section. So if you go to the like coding part here, there are some practice coding assignment and there are some actual coding assignment. So in week 3, we have program 1, program 2, program 3, program 4. So there are 4 programs, and all of the 4 programs are for practice only. Like these will not be evaluated towards your like grade. Okay, but for week 4, this will be counted towards your grade. So yeah, so assignment 4, I'll not be solving any of that. Sorry, like week 4, but week 3, the coding solutions I'll discuss here. Okay, so basically, what we need to do here is that they have already given some pre-existing code. You just have to write the solution here, and then you have to submit the solution. So basically, here the question is that uh, they are giving some floating point number, which is the radius of an circle, and you have to calculate the area of the circle. So one thing is that these things like the code to read the radius from the user, that is already written, so no need to change anything about that. That is not changeable. You have to write the logic for area, how to calculate the area. So can you write that? So basically answer is already given in the comment here actually. So here, how to calculate area of a circle? There is that pi into r square, right? So pi is that here like 3.4, 3.14, and r is radius of the square. So basically, what's happening here is that the model, the system will consider variable named area. So you have to write in the space area equal to pi r square. So pi is already defined here. You can use that pi into radius into radius. Okay. So this will assign the area of the circle to the variable area, and the program will automatically print that. So that is there. So after writing that, you can hit this one, compile and run. So compile and run, this has compared with some test cases. For example, there is some test case with 7 as the radius, and this is the expected output, and this is the actual output. So actual output and expected output is true. So this has passed. This is another with another radius also. This is correct. So this has passed. So one thing to note here is that if you run compile and run, this will not be considered submission. To submit the program, you have to click on submit. After compile and run, please click on submit. Then it will be submitted. Okay. So this is how you submit the subsequent assignment for like week 4. Okay. So then let me go to the next question. So again, okay, let me just do this. So here you have some numbers. It can be floating point number. It can be positive number, negative number. You have to give positive or negative with if else statement. So basically, the program is already reading the number from the user. Assume that it has already your number is already there in the number variable. You have to write the code logic to like print this, print either positive number, negative number, or the number is zero. So please try to write the statement. What statement should be there here, and paste it in the comment. Okay, let me solve the question. So basically, there are three options, like three conditions that we need to satisfy. Either the number can be zero, it can be positive, or it can be negative. So the scanf statement is already included. Then we have to consider two things. If number equal to zero, then we have to printf the number is zero, right? If the number is greater than zero, then we should rate the number is positive. Else we can write negative number. So these are the three conditions that we need to satisfy. Then remember one thing, like int main has been defined, but we haven't returned anything. We haven't closed the like main function here. So we have to return zero. We have to close the main function. Okay, so then we can try to compile and run the program. Okay, so all three values are correct. Then we can click on submit. So this has been submitted and there are some hidden test case. Okay, so it is showing that wrong answer in some case. Let me check again. Okay, so there may have been some spelling mistake here and there, so that's why one of the test cases was not passing. So I just copy pasted the things from here. Note that it should exactly match whatever is written there. Okay, so better is to copy paste again. So now this is passing the like test cases. So one thing to note here is that if you hit compile and run, it will just execute on some programs which is already shown here. Okay, but that will not submit your assignment, or that will not be counted to your score. When you click submit, there will be some additional test cases, and your scoring will be based on the additional test cases only. So this. Okay, then let me go to the program 3. This is if you have to check if a number is even or odd. So again here as well, you have to give a logic to find if the number is odd or even, and when that is done, you have to print this or this. So what will be the logic here? It is simple, like if number modulo 2 is equal to 0, then that means it is even, right? If it is not, then it is odd. And again, we have to return 0 because we have to close the main function. Then we have to close them. So there are two public test cases. It has passed those. Let me submit to run on the private test cases. Okay, so private test cases also has passed. So this question is also done. Let me go to the final question. So before that, any doubts in the existing, any questions? Please let me know. Okay. So basically here, the user is giving 3 numbers and we have to print the largest number within that. So what will be the like if statement? Okay, so there are basically 3 things to consider. So let's say I want to say that N1 is the like so one thing to note here is that we have to do it with a logical and an operator. Okay, so even though we can do nested ifs, but that is not what the assignment wants. They want that we use and operator. So basically, what are the conditions? So let's say I'm assuming that n1 will be the highest number when n1 will be the highest when it is greater than or equal to n2, and it is also greater than or equal to n3. So it should be at least like greater than both of them to become the positive number. So that we have to write let's say here if n1 greater than equal to n2 and then n1 greater than equal to n3, then we can write percentage is the largest number. Then same for n2. For n2 to become the highest number, it has to be greater than both n2 and n1 and n3. So n2 greater than equal to N1 and N2 greater than equal to N3. Both must be correct. And then we can write this, but in this case it will be N2. N2 is the highest number. Then else if to N3 become the highest number, we have to consider this N3 greater than equal to N1 and N3 greater than equal to N2. And in this case, the highest number will be N3. We have to return 0. We have to close the function. Okay, so there are two public test cases which has passed. Let me submit it. Okay, so there is one private test case that is also passed. So if you see that failed or any error, so then you can understand that you need to make more changes to the code to to make it correct. Okay, so if you have any doubts in any of the questions, please let me know. Otherwise, I will end the session after some time. I got an answer from Rakibul, so that is also correct. But here the question is saying that we should use logical and operator. So this is the way to do it. But yeah, we can go to the same answer using multiple methods. If someone missed the assignment, I don't think that there can be resubmission for the assignments actually, because the deadline is over. Just check once. So basically, assignment has 25% marks, and there will be 12 assignment for the 12 weeks, and only best 8 assignment score will be considered. Okay, so let's say you get bad marks in one of them, or you didn't submit one, but if you get very good marks in 8, at least 8, then wherever there is a higher score, those top 8 assignments will be considered for your grading. Okay, so you can submit the next assignment very carefully. I think then it will get compensated. Okay, so if you don't have any more questions, I will be stopping this session. So thank you everyone for joining.